So those founding fathers, these enlightened men who knew something about you under all that symbolism, they knew a day is going to come when God is going to intervene. Not some spook. So the best thing we can do is keep these niggas, you know, in a condition, in a beast-like state, pardon my crude language, but keep them in such a savage, cruel-like state. I don't care how much money we give them. We can give them $1 billion. As long as they out there making it rain and twerking and stuff, oh, they're not going to raise from the dead like that. Hell, I'll give you a contract and give you $50 million as long as you act a fool. But they've always known that God is coming because they know the prophecies better than us. So the God that they knew was coming, this anomaly that they always trembled and knew was going to come, has come. For it is written, for you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. So when God comes, he's not going to come the way Hollywood portrays, where he's going to come all of a sudden and he's going to bump up on the cloud and be on YouTube and have some theme music. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. I am here, my children. Welcome me. I am your God. Come with me. Believe me. Oh, it don't work like that. No, when God comes, he's going to come to a place where the conditions are such that he has to come and reclaim his lost and dead people. So he's going to come like a thief in the night. Oh, my God. So a thief doesn't come and announce himself, does he? If a man going to come and rob your house, the best thing he want to do, he want to take what he wants and leave without you even knowing he been there. He want to make sure that it's way after the fact before you look, you know what, where's my necklace? God damn, somebody done stole my necklace. It's probably weeks later. Thief gone, done pawned it and everything. But God comes like a thief in the night. Scripture says he comes without observation, so he's not coming making a big fuss over things. He's slipping in because the enemy knows that he's coming and they looking out for him.
In everybody's pocket at some point, this information is going to be impossible to withhold from the public. What do you think is the long game here?
Well, the secret's out. I mean, how many videos have there been already? You know, videos that are leaked from within the military and intelligence agencies and contractors and censor platforms. It's out there. But they have the high ground. The people that don't want us to take it seriously dismiss it, discredit the witnesses, come up with a cover story. I mean, it's been out there a long time. The public senses that it's real, and the people in authority dismiss them. It's a game that's been going on a long time, and I don't think they're ever going to release it. I think that there's an attitude among the people that have been involved in this for a long time that the public doesn't deserve to know, and that the public probably can't handle it, but they can.
Real quick, I'd like to ask the committee to replay that video that Burleson had played earlier. I want to ask every witness here, specifically ones that have censor training or have been able to recognize some of this movement real quick. So if you guys can please roll that real quick.
Tonight, new never-before-seen video off the coast of Yemen showing a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone tracking a glowing orb as it flies over the water. Now watch closely as a different U.S. drone drops a Hellfire missile on that fast-moving orb. The missile appearing to bounce off the object, doing very little damage. The orb then zipping away unfazed. The video from October 2024 shown during a congressional hearing today on unexplained anomalous phenomena. That's the official name for UFOs.
Okay, while this is still rolling, Mr. Nusatelli, real quick yes or no answers. Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No.
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I'd prefer to answer that in a skiff.
Okay. Does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Nat?
I had a different reaction. I was really happy that it got out. Thanks for providing
Curiosity
that,
kills the
Congressman.
cat. All right, Mr. Moreland?
Yes for.
Okay. All right, that is the end of my
We'd
question.
be saying, what happened to George Knapp? Oh, yeah. What happened to the Russians that came forward to you in 1993, and were there any repercussions for them?
Well, there were. The first thing that happened when I talked about this after getting back and going through the files and things and sifting through it, the Russian physicist who had helped us be introduced all these people wrote back and said there was a huge eruption, that there was the real right, far autocratic forces that wanted a return of the USSR had really go after these guys. They described them as traitors. Nikolai Kapranov, the physicist friend of mine, said, look, if this had happened 5 years earlier, we would be in prison. If it had happened 10 years earlier, we would have been shot. Right. Luckily, at that point, Putin was not in power, but none of those people that we talked to on that trip in 1993 would ever talk to me again. I went back in 1996, and it was like I had the plague. I spoke to different people, but they were scared. And eventually, the story was spun where the Ministry of Defense officials who gave us this information were described as ufologists who said there was nothing really significant to these files. They didn't really find anything a big deal. And I can tell you, you'll see those files that I shared with you, they did find stuff. There was an incident in October of 1982 over an ICBM base where UFOs popped up, was observed over this base where the missiles are pointed at us, United States. These UFOs perform incredible maneuvers. They split apart, they fuse back together. They'd appear and disappear, and right at the end of this 4-hour period, the launch control codes for the ICBMs lit up. Something entered the correct codes. The missiles were fired up and ready to launch, and they could not shut it down. The Russian officers were panicking. The UFOs they disappeared. The launch control system goes back to normal. Colonel Sokolov and his team came in, took the thing apart, could not figure out what it was. It wasn't a power surge or EMPs or some of the baloney excuses that our country has given for similar events involving our nuclear missiles. They thought it was a message from wherever the UFOs were from. And that's a chilling thing. I mean, we were a couple of seconds away from World War III starting, and the UFOs were responsible for it.
So they are involved in what is called a conspiracy of silence. Y'all ever heard that term before? Again, don't feel bad. This is one of those terms I just became familiar with somewhat recently myself. But a conspiracy of silence is basically kind of like another strategy, much like a limited hangout. It's a strategy where a collective group, it's a collective behavior where they agree collectively that they're not going to speak about certain things. So government and different agencies, be it FBI, be it CIA, be it State Department, be it Homeland Security, be it local police departments, hell, local Board of Education, be it whatever entity, there's this subtly agreed thing that certain topics we don't talk about. Conspiracy of silence. And you wonder why. The most important core part of the Nation of Islam is never discussed in public. Even though the nation discusses it all the time. Minister Farrakhan tells you every chance he gets about this wheel and the God of this wheel and all of that, but as much critique and as much scrutiny as the Nation of Islam undergoes, they never talk about this. It is a conspiracy of silence. You can't talk about it. We cannot pay people to talk about this with us. That's real. As a student of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan and as the author of UFOs and the Nation of Islam and as part of his research staff and one of the lead personnel as it relates to topics like this, Minister Farrakhan wanted me to reach out to many of these people who study UFOs, UFO researchers and ufologists as they are called, to let them know that they have a voice in us. We can disclose, information about this, and we will stand up for you to government. We're talking about white, black, it doesn't matter. There are people who want to know the truth. Minister Farrakhan wanted me to reach out to these different groups and persons to let them know they have a voice in him and in us. We're with you. We will help you when it comes to government disclosure. Unfortunately, what I found is that almost every avenue, they don't want to talk about it. Even, especially the mainstream, and believe me, I've reached out. All your major politicians, all your major journalists who will cover this subject, as long as they don't include the Nation of Islam, I've reached out to them. In some cases, several times. And I damn near feel like a troll. I'll be on Twitter emailing them and stuff like, hey, I represent Brother Farrakhan. We can help out on this. I'm going to deal with this. It's conspiracy of silence. And as I prepare to end, I just want to admit again and acknowledge that it is extremely hypocritical to keep overlooking this topic. Even, and perhaps especially from a religious perspective. Because again, all of your religious scriptures, all of the prophecies of the Torah, the Gospels, the Holy Quran, speak of God operating in and through his heavenly vessels that somehow fly and operate from the sky. So you can't call yourself a Christian and overlook this. Because throughout the Bible and the New Testament, it speaks of this New Jerusalem, this city of the living God in both Revelation and Galatians. In the book of Galatians, it talks about this New Jerusalem, which is above. It is free from the corruption of this world, free from the stupidity of this world, but it's a place that is free, and it is considered the mother of us all. Hello, somebody. We're talking about that mother wheel, that mother plane. Come on now. It is also referred to in the book of Hebrew as the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem. You mean God has a dwelling place? Yes, sir. See, the reason God has this throne, one of the reasons, is one, it's a weapon. It's a warship, literally. But it also serves as the office space, somewhat, of God, for lack of a better term. That's why it's referred to as his throne often. You read in the Bible, in the Gospels, about Jesus' transfiguration, and God communicates with him from a cloud, from some cloud vessel. And on this transfiguration, Jesus sees Moses and Elijah. Interesting that he sees and encounters these two figures. Moses, who is also the most mentioned prophet in the Holy Quran, by the way, but Moses, whose God operates from a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, and Elijah, who is mentioned and encountered by Jesus. Elijah, whose God operates from a fiery flying chariot via a whirlwind in the sky. Huh? See, you can't explain it. Your religion can't explain it. You just left that I just believe. In the Muslim world, there's so much that the scholars, the ulama, are unfamiliar with because it wasn't time for them to get the fullness of that understanding until the Messiah arrived. That's why there are certain things related to Allah's throne of power, his arsh, that the ulama, the scholars of the Muslim world, just don't know. So they use the term, they'll say bila kayf, which basically is a phrase that says without even asking how. We just believe. We're not going to, we can't ask how because we don't know. Bila kayf. But in the Gospels, everybody talking about Jesus coming and He left on a cloud, and he's expected to come back on a cloud. Come on, I know I got some church folk in here now. Where my church folk at? We talking about Jesus that everybody, all these Christians believe in now. And we believe in Jesus, but your book says that he left and went away on a cloud somehow. And when he comes back, he's going to come back via some kind of cloud. Now, how is that going to take place unless he's in some type of vehicle that can fly amidst the clouds? Praise is due to Allah. Now, I can't leave my Muslim brothers and sisters out. Throughout the Holy Quran, Allah is mentioned in this phrase, al-istiwa ala al-arsh. Allah is established upon his throne of power. Several places throughout the Quran, Allah lets us know his positioning. He is established. Istiwa is the main verb coming from the root sawa, which has to do with sitting, positioning. Allah sits. He is established upon his throne of power. Well, you say, okay, maybe that refers to his sovereignty over all that exists, because Allah is the Lord of the worlds. He's God over everything, right? So yes, it does refer to that too. But throughout the Holy Quran, we are giving these physical, tangible characteristics of Allah's throne as well. So there are certain parts where it says, and his throne was over the waters. Oh, so you mean this throne has some physical characteristics to it? See, that's some spatial. Has something to do with distance and space going on right there. His throne was over the waters. Ala al-May. Ala, upon, above, over. Al-May, the waters. Pretty much everywhere that term may is used in the Quran, it refers to water. H2O, water. So Allah's throne is above, is stationed above the earth's atmosphere and water, giving physical characteristics to this throne and giving even more physical characteristics, because Allah tells us in Surah Zumar that you shall see the angels. Wait. And you shall see come from an Arabic phrase, watara. Ra is the main verb meaning to see. Wa, and you shall see, watara. You shall see the angels going round about the throne. You mean the angels can go around and fly around Allah's throne, glorifying the praise of their Lord. And judgment, that term judgment again, must be a sign of the days of judgment. And judgment shall be given between them with justice. And it shall be said, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the world. Maybe Allah is telling us that you're going to see these things one day. And when you do, if you know better, you should know what you're looking at. When others see these things, they might say, oh my God, what are these? They're unidentified. They're flying over our airspace, but not the believers. When the believers see these things, they're going to say, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the world. Because the believer knows. Yeah. All praise is due to Allah. See, when the believer sees them, the believer knows, okay, that's what Elijah Muhammad told us about in the first place. So the believer don't have to get too afraid, even though you might be surprised when you see it. Whoa. But the believer says, oh, praise is due to Allah. I may not have seen it before, but I believe. And I thank you, oh Allah, for confirming that belief and showing your power and superiority in the real world. So when the believers say it, they won't say, be like Kaif. The true believers won't say without asking, I don't know. The true believers will say all praise is due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, you already know there's so much that I could go on when it comes to this topic, but I'm going to bring this thing to a close. I didn't even know I had all of that going on. I'm going to bring this thing to a close, but you can see why they consider the Nation of Islam the most dangerous topic today. They consider Farrakhan and this topic the most dangerous today. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. And so, I'm going to end with this slide right here. There's so much evidence that we've presented and so much more that can be presented. But I want to ask you, as Allah asks in the Holy Quran, and He shows you His signs. Which then of Allah's signs will you deny? Will we be like those that the Holy Quran speaks of, when the messengers were given and showing them signs and evidence, they still wouldn't believe? It got to a point where I think it was Moses, where they were so caught up in their disbelief, they didn't want to believe despite all the evidence. They were like, well, that's all right, but bring your God here manifestly. So in other words, I ain't going to believe until I see one of these wheels and the God come right outside the door and talk to me. It's going to take all of that for me to believe. I can't accept the evidence. I can't accept the signs. I can't accept the facts because I don't like y'all. I just want to believe what I want to believe anyway. We're not going to be like that, are we? So Allah says, which of Allah's signs will you deny? Brothers and sisters, I thank you for giving me this time, and I do apologize for going over time. Thank you for your time. Assalamu alaikum.